have no idea what to say.
I guess let's get started.
When starting a commission, I turned to my iPad for mock-ups. This client wanted a work similar to some of my previous works, but in silver, so I mocked it up and sent it their way for approval. Once I get their approval, the work really begins. This commission is 72 inches wide, 15 inches tall, and 2 inches deep. I often cut and plane the wood myself, but for a work so long in width and short in height, I was worried about the wood warping, so I picked up these pre-cut pieces at an art supply store near me. A bit of wood glue, a few small nails, and 2 support beams to help the frame keep its shape, and we are ready to stretch this canvas.
Okay.
As you might have noticed, I cut this canvas a bit larger than it needed to be, but I had extra and it's much easier to cut some off at the end than need some while you're stretching. What you see me doing in this video is in no way a tutorial. I learned how to stretch canvases from some college art classes and a bunch of YouTube. But the gist is to start in the middle on each side and work your way towards the corners, pulling the canvas tight and stapling every quarter or half inch, whatever you need to do to keep the ripples and bumps out of the canvas. The corners are the hardest part. It took me a while to figure out how to make these look like my pre-stretched gallery canvases, but you'll get it eventually if you're patient enough.
So, we have the canvas stretched and it's ready for gesso. We're going to use 2 coats of gesso on this canvas, sanding in between each layer, but I think we've done a pretty good job. It's pretty taut, and I think we're just going to get going on gesso. So let the time lapse begin.
Not a ton to talk about when it comes to gesso. It's just a standard gesso with a bit of water mixed in to make it a little thinner, easier to spread across this massive canvas.
So, it's the next day. We've applied both layers of gesso. We've sanded between each layer. The canvas is now primed and sanded smooth, so it's ready for some glue. Once we've applied the glue, we'll wait about 50 minutes to an hour, and then it will be nice and tacky. And we're gonna place the leaf. So, another time lapse.
This is definitely one of the more tedious parts of this style of painting. It took probably a little over 100 sheets of leaf to get this done. Here's an example of what it looks like at regular speed. The whole time I'm just trying not to breathe on it. Yeah, it took about an hour to get this part done. Turned out pretty well. Definitely slow. I missed a spot, so you can see me here going back and fixing it right at the end.
Now that first layer is applied, we'll get going on the second layer. We're gonna rip up the leaf, making it a little more uneven so that it doesn't leave this kind of box texture that you're seeing now across the canvas.
So this is just the same process as before, but I'm ripping up each piece, making it look a little more uneven and natural. Took about an hour, maybe a little longer.
And just like that, the second layer of silver leaf has been applied. After I did that, I actually added a few layers of this crystal clear enamel from Rust-Oleum. What this does is actually protect the silver leaf from oxidizing and like changing color, giving it adequate time to dry. And the last step is applying the white paint streak that goes right across the middle of the whole canvas. So I'm gonna do that now.
So for this white streak, I use a mix of golden acrylics and a bit of Liquitex. It's just what I had in the studio. For golden acrylics, I use the heavy body white as well as a paste medium. And for the Liquitex, I'm using a matte finish medium to make the streak a little less glossy. Again, this is at a regular speed, very slow process. This is actually a pretty quick pass I did, but I go over this about, 40-50 times with a slightly smaller brush. I use a combination of both a palette knife and a smaller brush to get those little dollops of paint on the side exactly where I want them. The last step is installation for the client. I'm taking some measurements to make sure the painting is centered and level on the wall. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. I forgot to record the audio. Measure, measure, measure. Don't second guess yourself, Sam. It's right. Make sure you really push that in. Hang it. Good work. super OCD, so make sure it's level. And here's the finished work. And that's it. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and giving it a like. It helps the channel grow and lets me know that I should make more content like this. Peace.